Okay, come to the top of your mat. Come into Tadasana. Get your feet about hip width apart. From here, straighten up your spine. Isometrically drag your feet towards each other. And then push your heels outward. That will help you rotate your upper inner thighs. And then tuck your tailbone under. That will straighten up your spine. Lift your shoulders up towards your ears. Roll them to the back. Get your shoulder blades to kiss. And just let your arms sink down with gravity pulling. Lift the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Tuck your chin a little bit. So your gaze is off at that horizon. Engage your abs. And breathe in and out through your nose. And then begin to engage your bandhas. First, your mula bandhas, your pelvic floor muscles. Those muscles that you use to keep from voiding yourself. Those are Kegel muscles for all of us who've gone through childbirth. And then add your Uddiyana bandhas, your lower abdomen. Those muscles about halfway between your pubic bone and your navel. Notice the restriction in your lungs. It prevents diaphragmatic breathing. But you're building heat. Now begin to close off your glottis, your Jalalahara bandha, so that your breath begins to make some sound. Notice the heat that you're building. The room is pretty cold today, so the difference should be easier to detect. Your muscles are all engaged. Then on your next inhale, bring your arms out and up overhead, palms together, gaze up, and then let your arms float out to the side and then all the way back down by your hips. Inhale, arms up overhead, get a little arch in your back, and then let your arms float all the way back down. Once more, inhale, arms up overhead. This time on the exhale, swan dive all the way over, bending your knees, bringing your hands or your fingers to the mat. Your knees can be bent a little or a lot. And then use the next 5 breaths to straighten your legs. Engage your quads to lift your knee caps. Each inhale, lengthen out. Each exhale, forward fold a little bit tighter. And on your 5th inhale, come up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms out and overhead. Bring your hands to Samastitihi and then to Tadasana. Again, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold, all the way over.
This time, maybe if the mounds of your fingers can reach the floor, or even if they can't, with your hands isometrically, draw your hands towards the back of your mat. You feel that your trapezius will lower your shoulder blades. Lift your hips a little bit higher. Bless you. And 5, inhale halfway up, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms out overhead. And hands to Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. This time, grab your left wrist with your right hand. Weight into your left foot and side bend to the right. So much weight you can take off that right foot. Push that left hip out. Make sure that that bicep stays over your ears so you're not making this into a twist. We'll do a twist in a moment. Next inhale, come all the way up and go to the other side. You can look at the eye of your elbow. Try to straighten that right arm by pushing the left hand farther away. And 5. Inhale all the way up. And hands to Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. And pause here. On your next inhale, take your left arm out and to the side and up. Twist it away. Try to get your shoulder blades vertical. Maybe you can look up at the ceiling. One leg can be straight, the other can be bent. On your fifth exhale, lower that left arm all the way down. And inhale the right arm all the way up. Four. And 5. Bring that right hand back down. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. Okay, now we're ready for the warm-up. So we'll start with one Namaskara A, and we'll hold the plank for some breaths. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and pause here. Isometrically draw your elbows towards each other. Draw your upper arms towards each other. Gaze at the mat. And then on your next exhale, lower all the way back down. Put your toenails down, hands are next to your chest. On an inhale, come up into Cobra. And then curl your toes under. Lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Then walk out your dog. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, hands to Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. And then 3 more. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Curl your toes. Come forward into up dog. Exhale. Lift your hips up and back into down dog. And rest here in down dog. Drop your chest between your shoulders. And at the bottom of your 5th exhale, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Another. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Roll over your toes to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Notice where you're feeling this. And at the very bottom of your 5th exhale, look between your hands and step forward or hop forward into forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Another. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Maybe push your heels towards the mat. If your heels touch the mat, lengthen your dog. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, hands to Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Okay, now my favorite, Namaskara As. So, on your next inhale, drop your seat. Raise your arms forward into Utkatasana, chair pose. With each exhale, maybe you can lower your hips just a little bit more. Each inhale, lengthen your arms, really pushing your fingers up. Tuck your tailbone under, lengthening your spine. On your 5th exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward, up dog. Exhale, lift your hips up and back. Turn the left foot out. Step the right foot forward, coming into warrior 1. Exhale, hands right back down to the mat, back to plank and down halfway. Inhale forward, up dog. Exhale, hips up and back. Turn that right foot out. Left foot comes forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hands back down. Step back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And rest here. Slow down your breathing. And 5, look between your hands. Hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Listen carefully. On your inhale, drop your seat. Raise your arms back to Gustasana. And rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Exhale, Samastitihi. And then Tadasana. Okay, we have another. This is where I'm glad I'm not 30 because we have 4 more to go. But we only have 1 more to go, and we're going to pause for 5 breaths in the warrior one and then humble warrior. So on your next inhale, drop your seat. Inhale your arms up into chair with Gustasana. Tuck that tailbone under and lower your hips a little bit more. And on your 5th exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Roll over your toes to up dog. Inhale. Hips back and up. Left foot turns out. Right foot comes forward into warrior one. Work on your pose here. Work on your alignment. Your hips should be squared to the front of your mat. Your back foot should be down on the mat all the way from your pinky to your big toe. And 5, exhale your arms out to the side. Come around behind your back, interlace your fingers however you wish. Push your knuckles down. Inhale, chest up. And exhale, forward fold into humble warrior. Take the crown of your head down towards the mat. Lift your knuckles up towards the ceiling. And slow down your breathing. And at the bottom of your 5th breath, lower your arms down towards the mat and rotate them back forward and up to warrior one. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, lift your hips up and back to down dog. Right foot turns out. Left comes forward and lift up into warrior one. Maybe you can bend that front knee a little bit more. And 5, arms float wide. Behind you, interlace your fingers the opposite direction. Push your knuckles down, lifting your chest. Exhale, forward fold. Crown of your head comes down towards the mat. You're gazing off towards the horizon or towards your back foot. 4. And then 5, release your bind. Swing your arms down. Rotate all the way to the front. Warrior one. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank, and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float. The forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, drop your seat. Raise your arms up to Utkatasana. You rise all the way up. Palms together. Down to and then Tadasana. I'm still not in yoga shape. Amazing what a few weeks off does. Okay, so now we have Paddy Gustasana and Paddy Hastasana. So look down on your feet. You're gonna have your feet out to the outsides of your mat. From here, inhale, arms up overhead, knees high. Exhale, forward fold. Grab onto your big toes with your peace fingers. Inhale up halfway. And then exhale, using the strength in your arms, draw the crown of your head down while lifting up your hips. Tighten your quads. You're gazing off towards the horizon, which is upside down behind you. And 5, release. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samastitihi. And then Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. This time, place your palms underneath the soles of your feet. That's Badakanasana. Inhale, lift your chest. Straighten your legs. And exhale, forward fold. Crown of your head coming down again. Lift your hips up. This is a great counter for all those vinyasas that you've done. All those down dogs, planks, up dogs. And 5, release your body. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms out and overhead. Hands to Samastitihi. And then Tadasana. And then look down, have your feet back to hip width apart. Now you're ready for Vinyasa, if you should choose to do it. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, down dog. And at the bottom of your 5th exhale, look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Hands to Samastitihi, and then Tadasana. And the reason why you step forward at the very bottom of your breath is that you've exhaled everything out of your belly. Your belly is as high up as it's going to get. You'll have more space to step that foot through. So now we're coming to triangle. So on your next inhale, turn to the right, take the right foot back towards the back of the mat, legs straight, arms out in T. Check your stance. Your left foot should be facing the side of your mat.
Your right foot should be towards the back, your chest and hips towards the side. From here, drop that front hip. And then begin to tip your triangle, lowering that right arm somewhere along the inside of that right leg. That left arm can go straight up, can come behind your back or on your hip. If you have a shoulder issue, you may find it much easier to do on your hip. And you'll still get the full benefit. But try to lean back, fall back, so that your shoulder blades are vertical. And 5, inhale. Come back up into T. Just rotate your feet towards the front of the mat. Left foot towards the front, right towards the edge. Again, drop that front hip, raise the back, and lower down into your triangle. Your gaze can be up towards your right hand or down towards your left, or neither works for you. Do what feels right for your body. And 5, inhale, back up into T. Rotate your feet towards the back of the mat. Step that left foot in, a little or a lot. Stay in T and then get your chest facing the back of your mat. Then rotate it towards the right. From here, we're going into a revolve triangle. So you can bring your right hand on top of your right hip and then tip your triangle, bringing that left hand down on the outside of that right leg. That right arm can go up towards the sky. But again, with this revolve triangle, your shoulder blades vertical is what you're trying to achieve. And 5, inhale, pinwheel your arms all the way back up into T. Rotate your feet and adjust your foot locations. Your right foot can actually be facing the front of the mat if you wish. Then turn your chest towards the front, then to the left, and then tip your revolve triangle. And this side may be much easier because of the shoulder, maybe much harder. Appreciate your body for what it can do. Four, and 5, inhale. And wheel your arms all the way back up. Rotate towards the front of the mat. Right foot steps forward to the left into Namaskara, and then Tadasana. You have another optional Vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale forward to up dog. Exhale, hips up and back into downward facing dog. And 5, look between your hands. Hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Namaskara, and then to Tadasana. Okay, this time we have side angle. So on your next inhale, try and step back with your right foot again. This time, come into warrior 2. Your right knee is bent. Your arms are out, stretched. Bend that right elbow, and then bring the right forearm to the center of your thigh, and then rotate your chest to the right. Bring your left arm up and towards the front corner of the ceiling and wall, making a straight line from your left toes to your left fingertips. And then just lift that right forearm to see how much weight you're actually putting on that thigh. And then inhale, come all the way back up into T. Rotate your feet towards the front of the mat. Bend that left knee into warrior two. And then bend that left elbow. We'll do side angle on the other side. And again, notice the differences. Really reach with those fingertips. In 5, inhale, come all the way back up into T. Rotate your feet towards the back of the mat. Then rotate your chest towards the back of the mat. We're going to do prayer twist here. So you may want to adjust your foot locations, but bend that front knee, bring your palms to heart center, twist to the right, and then forward fold, catching your left elbow over your right knee with the prayer twist. And after your fifth exhale, come all the way back up to T. Rotate your feet towards the front of the mat and come into warrior two. Turn your chest towards the front, hands to heart center, twist to the left, and fold forward into prayer twist. Try to get your shoulder blades vertical. You may have to move that right foot back a little bit more. And bring it up. And 5, release. Inhale, straighten both legs. Look forward. Step that left foot forward to meet the right. Into Samastitihi. And then Tadasana. You have another optional Vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the back. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, down dog. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samastitihi. And then Tadasana. Now we have Prasaritas. So, again, on your next inhale, giant step back with your right foot. This time you're facing the side of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift your chest high. And exhale, tip your pelvis forward as you come forward. Bring your head down towards the mat. Crown of your head down. You can use your hands whenever you feel it necessary. Adjust your feet so that you get a nice stretch in your groin, but it's not too much. Gaze off towards that horizon. And 5, bring your hands to your hips. On the inhale, rise all the way up. Bring your hands to the back of your hips. Inhale your chest high. This time, draw your elbows toward each other and forward fold again. Keep your elbows coming toward each other as you bring the crown of your head down towards the mat. Notice how different this is. Where do you feel this one?
And on your fifth exhale, use your elbows to help draw you back up vertical. Bring your arms out into T, thumbs down. Bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers any which way. Push your knuckles far away. Inhale your chest high and exhale forward fold. And as the crown of your head comes down, maybe your knuckles go vertical. Maybe they can come towards the wall beyond your feet. A lot depends on your bone structure as to how far your arms can go. And 5, on your next inhale, rise back up using your hands to help draw you up. Chest high, bring your arms out into T. And then exhale, forward fold again with your arms out wide. They can come down onto your legs, maybe grab onto your big toes if they reach. Doesn't matter if they don't. Anywhere on your leg is fine. Crown of your head comes down again. And 5, inhale. Use the strength of your legs to rise all the way back up, vertical. Bring your hands to your hips. Get out of this, heel toe your feet towards each other, or just tap your feet towards each other. Turn to the front of the mat, step forward into Tadasana, which brings us to, remarkably, another Vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. And down halfway. Inhale, forward and up dog. Exhale, down dog. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiktahi. And then Tadasana. Okay, so we have now, let's do Uttita Hasta Padagustasana. Everybody knows what that is. Okay, so you're in Tadasana. Bring the weight into your left foot. Raise your right knee up. Grab onto your right big toe. That left arm can be anywhere. That helps keep you vertical. And then straighten-ish that right leg out. Mary Kay is not here today to show how it's supposed to be done if you've been doing this for 40 years. And then on an exhale, bring it out to the side. And if you can't bring that to the side, maybe just lift your knee and then hold that knee, bring it towards your chest. But you want that right hip flexed outside or rotated outside. And 5, release. Walk that out a bit. Back to Tadasana. From here, lift your toes, spread them wide and back down. Weight into your left foot. Lift the right foot up 1 inch. And then raise the sole of your foot towards the wall in front of you. Notice what you feel in your ankle. As you go compare that now, as you come into tree pose. This is not an Ashtanga pose, but it works well here. Don't put your foot over your knee.
Can be above or below. Grow your branches if you wish, if you can. And exhale, release, and step that up. Back to Tadasana. Lift your toes, spread them wide. That helps with your balance. Weight into that right foot. Lift the left an inch. I'm sorry, lift the left, yeah. And grab onto your toe, big toe, and then straighten-ish that right leg out to the front. Keep your spine long. If your spine is rounded, it's actually much more difficult. And then rotate that foot off to the left. Maybe you can do that on this leg, maybe not. You can always grab that knee. Getting some good balance work here. Notice how different this side is from your other. And then release. Walk that out. Back to Tadasana. Lift your left foot up 1 inch. Rotate that sole forward towards the far wall. And if you're ever trying to improve your balance, one way to do it is at home, just stretch your foot right out and touch the wall and stay there for about 5 breaths. That will help. And then modify this coming into tree pose. Whatever your tree is today. And exhale, release. Step that out. Do some hula hoops with your hips. This is one pose that Paddy Joyce never chose to teach. And once you come to center, pause there. We have another vinyasa, and then we'll end up in Dandasana. So inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, Utkatasana. Uttasana. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or two back to plank and down halfway. Roll over your toes, inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And walk out your dog. And 5, look between your hands. You can hop, step, or float, bringing your feet between your hands. Coming all the way to Dandasana, which is seated pose. From here, I highly recommend your feet hip width apart, not together. Bring your palms to the mat. Now, if your arms are a little short, so you can't get much weight on those arms, move them back an inch or so. Inhale, lift your spine tall, crown your head up, push your heels away. Gaze at that horizon for 5 breaths. And 5, release. The next is Paschimottanasana A and B. So from here, inhale your spine tall and exhale forward fold, reaching for your toes with straightish looking legs. If you have tight hamstrings, this would be really tough.
You should be feeling this in both your hamstrings and in your spine. And 5, release, sit all the way back up. And on your exhale, forward fold. This time, grab the outsides of your feet or maybe make a bind across the bottoms of your feet. Crown of your head goes towards the far wall. The collarbones come toward your feet. Moon the person behind you. That will tilt your hips forward a little bit more. But keep up the pressure. Draw your feet towards your chest using your arms and push your heels away. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. I'm going to offer a bump right now for those of you who want to do it. If your arms are short, you can use blocks like me, but cross your ankles, bring your sit bones or your heels right up close to your sit bones. And then inhale, lift up, and then bring your feet forward. Okay, so we're here to, the next one we're going to do, bring your hands behind your hips. Bend your knees, bring your footprints onto the mat. For reverse stable, tuck your tailbone under. Inhale, lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Isometrically drag your heels towards your hands. Push your knees towards the front of your mat. And 5, release all the way back down. And sit back upright. From here, going to go to Janu Sirsasana. So bend your right knee, bring your right sole into your upper left thigh. Inhale your spine tall, look straight towards your left foot, and exhale forward fold and reach for your toes. This is gently opening that right hip. And if your right knee starts to come down towards your mat, you can tell it's opening. Again, your collarbones are being drawn towards your foot, crown of your head towards the far wall. 5, inhale, release. And exhale, forward fold again. This time, make a bind across the bottom of that foot. Same posture, but use strength here. Push that heel away with your left leg. Notice what's happening with that right hip. You should not have any pain in that right knee. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. This time, lift that right heel up with your right hand. And then bring that heel to your left hip crease. Now, your right knee should not feel anything. If it does, bring that foot back down to your thigh or move it farther forward, making it into like a pigeon. But from here, inhale tall, and then exhale, reach for your left toes. You're opening up that right hip a little bit more for Padmasana, Lotus Pose. You may be able to detect the movement there. And exhale, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. Release that right foot out to meet the left. Push your heels away, and then bend your left knee. Bring your left heel in towards your groin, the sole on your right inner thigh. Inhale tall, and exhale forward fold, reaching for your right toes with both hands. Bring that right hip back. That's another way to stretch that right hamstring. Then exhale, release, inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, forward fold, making a bind across the bottom of your right foot, drawing your collarbones towards that foot. And 5, release, inhale, sit all the way back up. Grab your left foot now with both hands. Bring that left heel to your right hip crease. If you have a bony foot, maybe you want to put a towel underneath. Inhale, tall, and exhale, forward fold. Release, inhale, come all the way back up. Left foot goes out to meet the right. And for a moment there, just bring your hands behind your hips and rotate your feet. That will rotate your femurs inside your hip sockets, bringing some more synovial fluid. And then if you wish, you can have another bump. Cross your ankles, bring them in real close. Inhale, lift up, and then bring your feet forward. Okay, from here, we're going to go into Mourichi. So bend your right knee, bring your right heel up towards your right sit bone. Now this is going to be a forward fold inside that right knee. Inhale tall and exhale forward fold, reaching your left arm towards your left foot. Maybe that right shoulder can come in front of that right shin, right knee. Maybe not. This is work on opening up your hips and your shoulders. And 5, release. Inhale, sit back up. This time, just bend your left knee with your right heel and bring your left heel to your right sit bone and then bring your right heel down in front. This is going to be the same forward fold. And maybe you can fold forward, get that right arm all the way around that right knee, and the left arm all the way around behind you and make a bind. I still have a few more days before I perfect this one. And 5, release. Inhale, sit all the way back up. Bring that left foot all the way back to the front. Right heel where it is. Grab onto your right knee with your left hand. Right hand behind your back as a kickstand. Lift your spine. Make yourself as tall as you can get. And on an exhale, twist to the right. Maybe that left arm can come over your right knee or right thigh. And 5, release. Come back to center. This time, bend that left knee. Bring the left heel to your right sit bone again, like you did the first time. Bring your right hand behind your back again. Grab onto that knee. Inhale, and then twist again. By having that left leg bent, you get a little bit more twist. And maybe You can make a bind. Maybe not. And 5, release. Come back to center. Bring both legs all the way out in front. And then bend your left knee. Bring your left heel to your left sit bone. Inhale. And then on an exhale, forward fold. Right hand reaches for the right foot. Left arm tries to get in front of that left shin or knee. And 5, release. Sit back up. Bend the right knee, right heel to your left sit bone, and your left heel back down. Maybe this might be the trick. Inhale, and then exhale, forward fold. Maybe you can bring that right hand behind your back and make a bind. Your gaze is down towards the mat. Crown of your head towards the far wall. And 5, release. Inhale, sit back up. Right foot back out. This time, grab your left knee with your right hand. Left hand behind you is a kickstand. Inhale tall, and then twist to your left. Push that right heel away. And release. This time, bend that right knee. Bring the right heel to your left sit bone and replace your left heel in front of it. Left arm returns to kickstand. Inhale tall. Exhale, twist to the left. Try to keep both sit bones on the mat. And 5, release. Come back to center. Release both legs to the front of the mat. Push your heels away. Rotate your feet again. From here, bring your hands behind your hips. Bring your footprints onto the mat. Then grab onto the backs of your thighs. Coming into Navasana. So straighten your spine, lean back. And then on an inhale, lift your legs up parallel to the floor. And if you wish, you can release. You can bring your arms wherever you wish. Palms up. And the more I talk, the less I count. And 5, release. Maybe rock your knees a little bit left to right. And then get back into the starting position. Straighten your spine. That's the most important part of every yoga pose. So inhale, lift your feet up. Release if you wish. This time you can straighten your legs. You can bring your arms out to the side to intensify this core work. And release. Navasana works on your hip flexors and all the muscles on the front of your body. Rectus abdominis, your quads. And then come back for a third time. On an inhale, lift your
legs up, release. And then back down. Bring your legs all the way out in front, stretch your heels away. And then we'll give another option for a bump up. So cross your ankles, heels close to your sit bones, your knees high. Inhale, bump up. And then kick your legs forward. Okay, now we're to Badakanasana, which is butterfly pose. So for this, bring the soles of your feet together. And it's in 2 stages, A and B. I love the innovative names. Anyways, from here, your heels can be as close to your groins as you wish. You want some tension in your groins, but you don't want to hurt yourself. Grab onto your toes with both hands. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, move the person behind you. And then come forward. Your collarbones towards the front of your mat. Crown of your head towards the far wall. Keep up the tension. This is not a resting pose. You can use your elbows to push your calves down. And 5, release, inhale, all the way back up. Move your feet out a pleasant amount. Doesn't really matter how far. Inhale, tall, and exhale, forward fold again. You can grab onto those toes, and again, use your upper body to increase the tension on your groins and your hamstrings. In 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. One more bump up. And if anybody wants to, when they bump up, kick their feet through and go into plank and then downward, up dog, down dog, you may. But anyway, I'll meet you back down on the mat. Okay, so on an inhale, bump up. Get your feet up. Okay, so now we're to Lotus Pose. And it took me about 6 years before I got into the first one. And then another year to get into my second one. And then about 3 more years after teaching this class every week for a year, I was able to get in. So this is not, it's not a normal pose for modern American human beings. But you can sit with your legs crossed in Sukhasana. What you really want to do is get your knees down low. You don't want your knees up here because your groins aren't, well, your groins are really tight if that's the case. You can come into half lotus, which would be that first pose that we did, or the third Sukhasana, where you bring one heel to your hip crease. And then the other leg can just be underneath. So this is great. And if you can't do the full lotus, maybe you do this once for 1 week and then the other side on the other week. Doesn't matter. And if this class has opened up your hips enough, and if your practice includes going into lotus, maybe you can bring your other foot over the top of your opposite ankle so that your heels come towards your other hip crease. Now, the real lotus pose is you reach all the way behind, and my left arm would be holding on, or my right arm would be holding on to my left foot. My left hand would be hanging on to my left foot. That's never going to happen, but that's fine. But you can all, even in Sukhasana, you'll get the same out of this pose. But from here, just raise the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Close your eyes. Follow your breath, and over the next 10 breaths, begin to forward fold. You can walk your hands forward. I take that back. Bring your arms out to the side, then behind your back, and either make a mudra, grab opposite wrists, opposite elbows, whatever you can get, or your hands can just be behind you. And then from here, 10 breaths, begin to fold forward. So on your 10th breath, you're at the maximum. And as you're going through this, observe your body and how it changes with every breath, with every micro movement. Some muscles will release, other muscles will take up that tension. Your job is to observe. Not to judge. Seven. 8. 9. 10. Now take the next 2 or 3, 4 breaths to slowly come back up. And again, observe how your body does this. Observe the top of your hips and the back, your spine. And once you're vertical, bring the backs of your hands out to your knees. Make a mudra if you wish, or just place your hands on your knees. Inhale the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Close your eyes. You can bow your head in gratitude for the life that your body is supporting. Or you can gaze off towards the horizon. We'll be here for 10 more breaths before Shavasana. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, open your eyes. Help your legs come back out towards the front of the mat. Notice if your feet are the same temperature as the rest of you. Push your heels away. Bring your hands behind your hips. Rotate your feet one side to the other. And notice how good that feels in your hip sockets. And then come down onto your elbows and all the way down onto your back. Raise your arms up towards the ceiling and then rotate them towards the back of the room and bring them all the way down onto the mat. Push your palms away, push your heels away. Feel that stretch across the back of your body. And then stretch your fingers and your toes as far apart as it can get. And notice the front of your body. And then return your arms to your sides or out from your sides, wherever is comfortable for you. Separate your legs the proper amount for you. Maybe roll your feet one direction or the other, and then let your feet just fall where they might want to go. Roll your hips a little bit, finding the perfect spot for your sacrum on your mat. And then gently roll your head from left to right. Stretch your spine long. Tuck your chin in, lift your head an inch. And then lower it back down. Take a deep cleansing breath into your nose. Exhale it out through your nose. Another in through your nose. Out through your nose. And take rest. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your space. Bring movement to your fingers and to your toes, to your wrists, and to your ankles. Gently roll your head from left to right. And when you're ready, walk your footprints up towards your sit bones, drawing your knees into your chest and give yourself a squeeze. And rock from left to right or make circles on the ceiling with your knees. Make sure you go the opposite direction. And the next time you come over towards your right side, pause there for just a moment in fetal pose, using your arm as a pillow. And do a quick scan of your body to detect any tension or stress that may still be residing somewhere in your tissues that you will want to address later today or later this week. And then using the strength in your left hand, push the floor away, rise up to a seated position. Thank you for sharing your yoga practice with me this morning. It really is motivating to see each of you here, keeping your body and your mind and your breath in good condition through the practice of yoga. Take the compassion and the empathy that you practice each time you step onto your mat with you everywhere you go, and share it with your family, your friends, and each person you might meet. Namaste. Namaste. My name is Clint, and this has been Ashtanga Yoga. Thank you for coming.